Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on a roundup. I think I've got like 10 or 11 products in front of me. These are all products from the drugstore that I've been super impressed with lately. You know the drill, drugstore that I feel like is very comparable to some of my favorite high-end favorites. And I've used all these products for multiple weeks, if not even weeks, sometimes months. So I feel like I've got a really good hold on why I love these products so much. And there's a few in here that I know you're going to be really excited about too. So we'll just get right into it. I am going to be showing you demos as I talk about these products, just so you can get a little bit more of a vibe on why I love them so much and how they apply. So let me know if you find demos helpful. I'll be sure to continue doing those in the video. But if you are down for just like a casual sit down talking together about the products, I'm also down for that too. First product I want to talk about is a gripping primer. This is from Wet n Wild. This is the Clingy Serum Primer. So when I first purchased this, I actually thought it was going to be more similar to the Maybelline Grippy Serum Primer, which I love as well. But this is actually more comparable to the e.l.f. Grip Primer or the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. The Wet n Wild primer I feel like is extremely moisturizing, and it does leave a really nice, good, tacky base. I think you can go in with anywhere between like 1 to 2 pumps and you're gonna get some really great coverage of the primer all over your entire face. Or you can go in with 3. Sometimes I use 3 if I want the primer to last extra long. What I really like about this primer specifically is that it does not skip on the face. So as long as I ensure that I'm applying a nice even light layer all the way from top of the forehead down to the chin, really paying focus on to the under eyes and corners of the nose, just so you don't skip those areas, that's where I'll notice I'll get a little bit of patchiness. But if you get one nice light layer all over the skin, it really does give you that perfect tacky base, so that when you go in with your makeup products, you have a little bit of extra grip. It's definitely a longevity increasing primer. I feel like especially on spots like concealer or jawline or perimeter of the face where my makeup tends to wear off a little bit quicker, I think it lasts a lot longer when I'm using this primer. And I love how moisturizing it is. Also, the biggest thing about it is that it leaves the skin looking visibly moisturized. Like you can see in the demo, my skin looks really nice, glassy, dewy. And I will say, if you guys remember from years and years ago, I was obsessed with the J1 Jelly Pack Primer. I truly feel like this is now the closest thing I found to the J1 Jelly Pack Primer, where it does leave the skin with that visibly glassy sheen, and the makeup just clings to it in the right way. It's not like you're fighting blend time. And honestly, that's the main thing I want to say about the e.l.f. primer. It's a great primer, but I did find even for myself, it's like a little bit tricky. Sometimes it would grab onto certain areas. The makeup would grab onto certain areas more than others. With the e.l.f. one, I feel like just that nice even coating and the makeup blends into the skin literally like butter. I'm just super impressed with it. This is a new luminizer from the Hard Candy brand. They recently came out with 3 shades of these. I like the shade Golden Glow. I feel like it just matches my skin tone a little bit nicer. And when it says golden, it's not like an antique gold or anything that's like too yellow. I find this to lean a little bit more on the true bronze light gold side. You know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes golds are a little bit too yellow and I feel like they conflict with the undertones in my skin. Like it almost brings out the yellowness of my skin tone. So I think this sits in a really flattering shade for a skin tone similar to mine. There's also one that's a little bit lighter, and then there's a pink one as well that's really pretty. Now this I've gotten questions about, is it similar to something like the, say, Super Glowy Gel or, you know, the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter? I don't really think it falls in line with products that are filtered like the e.l.f. Halo Glow, or products that are kind of like a sheer wash of illuminator, such as the, say, Super Glowy Gel. I think this falls in line more with your typical run-of-the-mill illuminator. So something more along the lines of Chantecaille or even the Westman Atelier, that type of highlight where it's truly just a little bit of pearl that's meant to give the skin that bounce back of light. It's super lightweight. It honestly feels like another lightweight gel moisturizer that you would put on your skin. And despite that, I haven't had issues with it causing pilling or interacting with any type of skincare that I like to layer it with. You'll also notice in the swatch, it's very full on pigment pearl. So a little bit really goes a long way. It's not something that you need a lot of. I would say half a pump to 1 pump will get the job done, depending on how glowy you like it. This is also a really nice transformative product. You can wear this underneath your makeup, and it's gonna, you know, if you're wearing like a tinted moisturizer or a skin tint, it's gonna peek out from behind that product, or you can mix it into your makeup, or you can wear it on top of your makeup. So in that sense, it really is a true illuminating product versus those products that kind of have a little bit more of a skin tint shift to them, where they actually provide the skin with a little bit of coverage. You can also mix it in with your body lotion, get a little bit of body glow going as well. I just think it's so pretty, and again, it does make a really nice highlight. So if you're someone who doesn't like powder highlights because you don't like the way they cling to the skin, a little bit of this on your fingertip on the high points of the face, and it can provide you with a little bit more of a natural filtered looking highlight. I have been so impressed with this. So this is e.l.f.'s new skin tint. It's part of the Halo Glow line, which I feel like you guys know that I'm a big fan of in general. I think e.l.f.'s Halo Glow line is their best line, but this is actually a tinted SPF 50, and it's also water resistant. I think that even though this is an SPF 50, you'd still want to go in with your regular SPF, because this has coverage quite similar to a foundation in my opinion. I find myself using significantly less of this than I would my typical sunscreen. So that's just something to be aware of. If you're planning on using it as your SPF, if you're wearing the adequate amount, it's very full on coverage. It's really, like I said, I would just say it's comparable to more like a medium coverage foundation when you really build it up. Now, what I think is so beautiful about this is that it's really lightweight, and you do get this subtle glowy finish, but it doesn't stay sticky. So I absolutely love that about this one. It doesn't have that tacky, greasy feel that a lot of other skin tints that have a built-in SPF have. Now, I did put this on top of the Hard Candy Illuminator, so it's looking a little bit extra glowy in the demo, but on its own, the pearl is very sheer, and I do find that even on top of blemishes or active breakouts, it doesn't emphasize texture, but truly just like a couple drops of this, it will really give you a great looking skin-like finish. And because it's so fluid and lightweight, like you'll see the formula is very watery, what I like about that is that it just mimics your skin's texture, and it doesn't sit on top of your skin like a lot of other skin tints do. It just sits down really pretty. It looks very effortless. So if you're someone who likes a little bit more of a minimal, no makeup vibe, this is easy to apply. I used a brush when I was applying it, but it applies beautifully with the fingertips as well. And then you can just go in with a sponge to kind of blend any streaks out that you might get. But otherwise, formula, super lightweight enough that I feel like it's one of those skin tints that you kind of forget you even have on. Have we talked about this? I feel like we might have, but I don't think so. But I've been leaning into it a lot during the summer months. Neutrogena came out with the Healthy Skin Glow Perfector pen. Now you guys know how I feel about the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. That's like my absolute must-have favorite concealer ever at the drugstore. There's something about Neutrogena. They do concealers right. The Healthy Glow pen is very similar to other prestige brands, like think the YSL concealer or the Victoria Beckham concealer. Any concealer that tends to come in this type of clicker pen applicator with the brush, it's going to be a little bit more of a fluid, lightweight veil of coverage. So they go on creamy, but you can tell as the concealer starts setting down, it has a unique sheerness to it. So although when you're applying it, you might think it's gonna be more medium to full coverage, as it dries down, it shears out. That's a really unique characteristic about clicker pen concealers that I love so much, and why I think they're really ideal during the warmer months. They set down really nice and light to the skin. They don't tighten or feel like they are going to migrate into lines or move around quite as much, because they're not creamy or heavy like your typical concealer. So if you are somebody who's reaching for lighter weight products during the warmer months, this is super ideal, and I use it exactly the same as I do my YSL concealer. I like to use this as kind of a hybrid between a brightening, adding extra coverage, and a little bit of a highlighting, kind of like adding that extra dimension to the base. This is the best at the drugstore. e.l.f. used to have a clicker pen like this too. I don't know why they discontinued it, because the e.l.f. clicker pen concealer was perfection as well, but the Neutrogena one, it's perfect. So I would highly recommend this if you tend to reach for lighter, fluid, less coverage concealers. You'll love this. You guys, there are two two standout powders at the drugstore right now, and I use them completely differently. So I want to talk about the L'Oreal one first because we demoed this one first. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection powder. This is something else. It is very lightweight. It's not as, you know how like sometimes with loose powders, they're a little bit more dense, kind of on the chalky side. This one has this unique quality where it's lightweight and airy, and it truly has a translucency to it. Sometimes with pressed powders, they go on a little bit more full and opaque than what you're looking for. This one is perfect, and it's got a little bit of pearl to it, so keep that in mind. I don't think it translates onto the skin quite as noticeable as some other ones. Like I would say the e.l.f. Halo Glow loose powder is much more visibly pearly, or the J-Cat powder that I've recommended a lot, that one is significantly more pearly as well. The L'Oreal one just has enough of that pearl to bounce back light and diffuse any type of darkness on the skin. So I really like to apply this on a puff, and my favorite way to do it is pick the powder up on the puff, and so that I don't get like a full-on clump of powder under the eye, I try to work as much of the powder back into the puff by rubbing the puff on the back of my hand, and then you'll get a little bit more of a dense application of the powder without it clumping or clinging immediately to those wet cream products. And I think if you apply it that way, you'll really be blown away by how airbrushed and light the powder applies. Super ideal for anybody that likes to do a little bit of post makeup application brightening. So underneath the eyes, sides of the nose, or even underneath the jawline, if you're somebody who likes to kind of hit that spot and get a little bit of a little more noticeable chisel under the jawline, it can really help correct a contour or lift the cheekbone visibly. This one that I have is actually in the shade Translucent Light, and I know a lot of people like the pink one as well. I haven't tried the pink one. I'm not too partial to pink powders in general, so it just wasn't something that I felt drawn to, but I am so impressed with this. It takes away the greasy shine without completely dulling out the face. So you really do get the best of both worlds with this powder. It's gonna set the makeup in place, keep it nice and locked and loaded, but it's gonna give you a soft matte set down. So don't be afraid of it, because I know a lot of us, if you're like me, you're a little bit timid with powders and you don't want to use something that you feel like is going to completely dull out your complexion. I really love how this one sets my makeup without completely mattifying me to where I feel like I'm one-dimensional and matte, and truly it is so beautiful up close. You really do look airbrushed. It's incredible. So I love that. And then I also have been really impressed with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Pressed Filter Powder. Okay, this one I need to be specific with. So I have this one in the shade medium warm, okay? So it's darker than what I would use to set my under eyes. That's why I like this one for like center of the face, anywhere you've applied some highlights. The way that I like to use this is kind of like a finishing blend filtering powder. So it's really great for setting the perimeter of the face, or I know this is like so niche, but I know you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Sometimes if you use cream bronzers or cream blushes, there's very subtle lines of demarcation between concealer, bronzer, highlights. It can sometimes be a little bit difficult to blend those products out, and that is where this really comes in handy. So you have to take it on a big fluffy brush, nothing that's too dense or you're going to actually get a little bit too much pigment from the powder itself. But what you want to do is just lightly tap this into place, and then once you've gotten that initial set down of powder on top of the cream product, you can go in with your brush with an even lighter hand and swirl and buff. That swirling and buffing action is what's going to actually make sure that all of those products look perfectly blended, and it's just going to completely eradicate any of those lines of demarcation between different layers of product. It's incredible, and that's really what makes a finishing powder so special. I have a lot of finishing powders that I like, and they are very expensive, and the e.l.f. one I feel like is performing just as well. You just have to be a little bit more strategic with the shade that you pick. You don't want to pick anything too light or too dark. You want to pick something that kind of falls in line with the other tones of makeup products that you wear, so that it's not a stark difference. I can go more in depth on how I like to do finishing powder in a tutorial if that's something that you'd be interested in, but I'm really impressed with this. I feel like especially for a drugstore product. It really can take your base application to the next level, get it looking a little bit more professional. This can kind of fix any blunders that you may have had and just really make the complexion look unified, seamless, and airbrushed. It's really great for that like final seamless seal, and I like to use this for, you know, setting those cream products. And I feel like it also helps keep things in place as well. But this is not shimmery, but there is visible pearl to it. This is not super glowy, although it's from the e.l.f. Halo Glow line. I don't think it emphasizes texture or makes any type of raised irregularities in the skin more noticeable, so I don't think that's anything you have to worry about. L'Oreal came out with cream shadow sticks. Drop everything. I mean, a shadow stick is either really good or really bad, and one thing I don't really have time for with shadow sticks is like, if it's not long wear, like it's not waterproof or water resistant, then I really don't want anything to do with it, because the minute I put a shadow stick in my eye space, if it is not a type of shadow stick that will set down my eye shape, you know, like it's just gonna immediately start moving around. It transfers up here, it transfers around here. It's just turning into a mess if it's not a product that will actually set down. The L'Oreal Lay Shadow Sticks, beautiful, perfect. I don't have any critique on these. Gorgeous, wearable, earthy, fleshy tones. So very easy for somebody who's not particularly into eyeshadow, or you just want something that you can wear on a daily basis, and shades that you feel like you're actually going to utilize more than once. So I really like the shades Brown Abyss, and this one is Twinkly Rose. Really unique characteristic about these as well that I think makes them comparable to the Bobbi Brown shadow sticks or the Laura Mercier shadow sticks, nude sticks, whatever you can think of, these longwear shadow sticks. I like how these can be applied in their stick form, and you're gonna get a little bit more of a full-on opaque application, so it's going to set down and look, you know, full-on eyeshadow. Or you can shear them out and wear them as a wash of color. So you can pick it up on a brush and kind of smudge it into that top lash line, or you can put it in the tear duct. So that's what I did with each of these. I wore this one on the lash line and put this one in the tear duct. I think it looks really good. And you can also put powders on top of these because they act also slightly like a primer. I think that's gonna be dependent on if you have really oily eyelids or more of like a normal skin type on your eyelids, but most of the time I don't bother using primer with these. And I think powders apply on top of them perfectly. And the same goes if you're wearing like a powder eyeshadow look, which I did, and then use these as eyeliners and like accent colors. It doesn't do that weird thing where it picks up the powder underneath it. It lays on top of powder shadows just fine. Okay, I've also been equally obsessed with this new brow gel. This is the Brow Lamination Gel from L'Oreal. I typically do not like drugstore brow gels, or just like brow gels in general. I'm very picky. I feel like you guys know for literally years I've been so loyal to the Kosas Air Brow, and I do like the Anastasia Brow Freeze. But other than that, I can't think of another brow gel that I've like actually been in love with. And I am not exaggerating when I say I think I buy the Kosas Air Brow once a month because I wear it almost every single day until I started using the L'Oreal one. I like this one just as much. It's not tinted, it's clear, so it's a little bit of an extra step because with the Kosas one, what I love is I don't have to fill in my brows at all. So with the L'Oreal one, it's like, yeah, I gotta use a little bit of a pencil, but it's still great. This has more hold than the Kosas, and it like the tail ends of my brows, they usually grow out quite straight, and I feel like from the side it would look like I had almost like two brow tails, but it was really a shadow of my brow tail sticking out from my head, and I could never find anything that would hold it down except for the one from Anastasia. And sometimes the Anastasia one gets flaky and white. I haven't had any issues with this one turning flaky and white. It has a really unique gel formula. I've never used a brow gel that has a formula that I can compare this to. I've seen people say it's similar to the one from Rare Beauty. I haven't tried the one from Rare Beauty, so I can't speak on that. Although this is clear, I haven't had any issues with this doing that flaky white thing, and I've been using it for almost a month now. I'm obsessed with it. I feel like, you know, when I like a brow gel, I'll wear it almost every single day. This is gonna be something that I have to repurchase. I really like the brush as well. I feel like it dispenses just the right amount of product onto the brows to where you're never left with like too much brow gel, and then you're finicking around trying to figure out how to disperse it through the brow hairs. And once this sets down, it stays put. Humidity, rain, whatever it is, like your brows will stay intact fully, even if your face is sweating. I feel like my brows stay in place. It's really, really nice. I'm so impressed with this, but the L'Oreal Infallible line in general is really great. But this brow gel, honestly, I'm not exaggerating. I think this is like gonna come in at number 2. I would say like the Kosas Air Brow and then the L'Oreal Brow Lamination. And this is better than actually getting your brows laminated because I did fall victim to that. I gaslit myself. I thought that they looked good. And then I do look back at when I had laminated brows and I do think that I look crazy. This is yet again another like niche thing, but I love Essence mascaras. I think Essence is one of those sleeper brands where they have so many good mascaras. And this is the Lash Without Limits mascara. So they have a waterproof version and then a tubing version. The brushes on them are very different. I prefer the waterproof version for obvious reasons. You guys know, pretty much only wear waterproof mascara. So let me show you these side by side really quick. So this one right here with the pink base is the waterproof. And then this one right here with the black base is the tubing. I did the demo of the tubing. I'll show you the waterproof one as well if that's something that you want to see. But the waterproof one, it reminds me so much of Benefit Bad Gal Bang. Like, I'm very excited about this. I've never found in like anything that like reminded me remotely of Benefit Bad Gal Bang, and that's one of my favorite waterproof mascaras of all time. You'll find other, you know, drugstore brands that have similar wands to Benefit Bad Gal Bang, but it's never the same effect. Because I really did think the Milani one was gonna be like that, but it's not. So you can't really judge a wand and compare like the high end to the drugstore and assume that just because they have a similar wand that they're gonna have the same exact effect. Oftentimes the formula is just as important as the wand. It's like very harmonious. The wand and the formula have to give the same effect. So I really like this one. It's gonna give you long, clean definition and length. And then with the tubing one, what I really like doing is just wearing this on the very tips of my lashes during the daytime. It gives me a little bit of extension on the lashes from the tubes. And I also feel like it's so much less overstimulating than wearing full-on waterproof mascara every single day. I have gotten to the point where like a lot of times, especially just because it's been so hot this summer, I don't even want to wear mascara. I'll just curl my lashes and then put in a little bit of brow gel so they'll kind of like hold the curl. But it's because I don't want to take it off at the end of the day. Like even I'm at my wit's end with taking off waterproof mascara day in and day out. So I kind of save it for special occasions now or just like at nighttime. And this is really nice. It's not gonna, I don't want to say it's like gonna hold the curl for the entire day. Like I don't want to mislead you. If you have straight Asian eyelashes like I do, they will fall throughout the day, but I like how this gives me just that little bit of length, and it's an affordable tubing mascara. Like, you know, I love good tubing mascara, but you know, sometimes they're more on the pricey side. So Milani came out with the plumping lip liner pencils. If you don't follow me on IG, I did a full swatch video swatching all of the shades so you can kind of see what they look like on my skin tone, judge whether or not you want to like see all the shades and what shade you would like. This one is in the shade Hot Shot. I was gonna say Hot Spot. I have to remember the name because it's rubbed off. What a beautiful formula. Okay, so they kind of remind me of the Glossier lip liners. The Glossier lip liners are all very wearable shades. They're based off of nipple colors so that they can be more flattering to your lips, and you can do a little bit of cheating with the size of your lips and kind of, you know, overline in the most ideal shades that look natural depending on your skin tone. I feel like Milani did very natural lip colors as well with these lip liners. They are plumping, so that's something I want to say. I don't mind a lip plumper. I know a lot of people are sensitive to lip plumpers and they really don't like the plumping sensation. I will say if you can get through those initial 5 to 10 minutes, it completely goes away. And it's not an uncomfortable plump. It's a little bit of a tingling, agitating feeling, but really not something that I would say is discomfort or painful. So I think the color and the longevity on these is worth the plumping. And I will say, you guys know I am partial to a waterproof longwear lip pencil. A lot of times with even some of the high-end brands, they tend to gather on top of themselves, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It will almost like cling in certain spots on the lip and create these like dark bits. With the Milani ones, they have formulated these to be so creamy. You can overline on certain areas and really build up the intensity on areas of the lip without it doing that thing. You know the thing that I'm talking about. So these are incredible. Hot Shot, if you've got a similar skin tone to me, I think you'll like Hot Shot, and I think you'll really like Hot Tamale, but go watch my swatch video if you want to see all of them. And I know you're gonna be just as excited as I am. Revlon came back out with the Glass Shine lipsticks. I like multiple shades. I'm so excited about these. They used to come in the cheeky deeky little black tube, but now they come in white. I still like that. It's cute, but I liked the black one too. There are not all the same shades from the original Glass Shine line, so that's a total bummer. I hope that they'll expand the shade range, but there's still quite a few from the original shade range that I loved. So the one that I'm gonna say is like my go-to right now is Rum Raisin. I think it looks really good in the summertime, especially paired with the Milani lip liner. It looks really nice. These are if lip balm, lip gloss, lipstick had a baby. It's not sticky like a lip gloss, but you still get that shine of it's not like super glossy, but you still get that little bit of wet reflection from the product. And then it's sheer, slightly opaque like a tinted lip balm. And then you obviously get a little bit more color like you would from a lipstick. They are the best. These are really comparable, not to, a lot of people asked if these were comparable to the YSL Candy Glaze. I don't think so. The Candy Glaze is a true gloss stick. And I think these are more comparable and fall in line more with like a Chanel Rouge Coco Flash or the Chanel, sorry, not the Chanel Rouge Coco Flash or the YSL, oh gosh, what one are they called? The YSL Love Shine lip oils. This lip oil sticks, that's more what this falls in line with. And I love them. I'm so excited that Revlon brought these back. I don't know why they took them away in the first time. And then, you know what? I think I also found out that they took away the Skin Lights Illuminator, which they discontinue all my favorite things. But that's what we're ending this video on. I feel like this is gonna be so long. I hope you enjoyed the demos. Like I said, let me know if you like those. And then I have more products from the drugstore to talk about. So let me know if you want me to do a part 2 on this. And also let me know if there's anything kind of like summer-esque that you wanna see a makeup video on. I'm thinking about doing a long-lasting summer makeup tutorial as well, kind of showing you how to, you know, deal with all the humidity, and especially if you're like going to any weddings. I know it's still summer, but I know that, you know, wedding season is still gonna be coming throughout the fall, and it's still humid in the fall. So if you guys want like a long-lasting special event type of makeup tutorial, I would definitely do that for you. But other than that, I'm gonna list and link everything in the description box. And if you have any questions about these products, leave them down below. I will get back to you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.